We do have a quorum. We have a couple on this.
Yeah, we have 2 online. Mhm.
Yeah. I can share. Anyone else in like the waiting room?
No, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of me on the screen.
If you look in the video.
Yeah.
Era. Video settings, maybe it should be.
Should say owl, shouldn't it?
The camera.
Where am I looking at here? Yeah.
Doesn't look like it's picking it up.
Do you want to push a little button on the back and see if it'll turn on? It's a good thing you went and got back on this right. A little bit there. Nope. Your finger.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. It shouldn't have to. Usually it turns on automatically.
Is it plugged in?
Yes, I believe it is. I checked all the cords earlier.
You don't have to like hold it down or do anything special.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any signs of like in and out.
Let me see if I can move it. See any, usually that turns blue.
This is here.
Yeah. Because normally it says comes up as owl. Let me.
That works, I'll be really impressed.
Just gotta blow on it. Hit it a button.
Yeah.
Like turn off the blow on it.
I don't know what else to check for here, so.
Is the computer charging?
Is that
So I'm wondering if this is.
actually no, the computer is not charging. Let's try a different plug-in.
Did he actually?
It's still.
Yeah, it's switching.
No. That plug-in doesn't work. Surprise. Well, try a different. Wait a minute. Yeah, you want to try that one down there. See. Thank goodness it's just us on and no one else.
Can you switch on the power cord strip?
That's not a,
No, I don't
it's
think
not this switch.
There it isn't.
It look like
Okay,
it.
does Lori, if she's switching, does it show her computer light up?
So far, no blinking light.
charging. Okay, now your voice is on the screen. Well, that's a good sign.
It's not showing it's charging.
No, it's not showing it's charging.
Right.
Yeah.
Extension cord.
In that case, unless you get a new cord.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, now. Not plugged in. Now we know it won't be working. This is not plugged into that.
Yeah.
And this is the usual one.
Yes.
Find different extension cord.
delete the power strip and go, no, cause this needs two strips.
Yeah, the laptop charger and.
But does the laptop need to be
Oh,
charged?
where is this
So
one
just
coming?
do the owl
That's-
directly to the orange thing.
Oh, okay.
It did, I tried
Oh, you
it,
tried that.
yeah. So I think it's the orange that's defective.
Okay.
The cable.
Well, that's interesting.
This one is this.
Not that I know. I wouldn't be surprised if none, half these plugins don't work.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe someone.
Honestly. Oh, look at, light it up.
Yeah.
It's working.
It's flashing.
Uh,
So there are
So,
four
uh,
plugins there that don't work at all. Wow. Okay,
Is it still?
now it's charging. Yeah.
Owl just went off.
But it's still charging. Well, it's still charging.
Yeah. So
Alright.
that control by the switch.
Wow.
I see. the-
Just in case you want to lamp on that side.
That's where we wanted to land.
Wow. Wow, that's right. Okay,
All right, are we?
get it focused on you guys and not on me. Right.
You don't like this.
There you are. Okay. Better late than never.
We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. 6:09 PM, under 10 minutes isn't too bad. For this Wednesday, August 6th, this is our August Economic Development Commission session. Before we get going, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the flag.
Yes,
Present.
it's up there, something.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we'll go through a roll call and that'll be a good check for those on the line to make sure they can hear us as well.
Correct. Chair Lawson,
Here,
Lisa Fry,
Present.
Jacqueline Hunt, Mike Acciardi. Mike
Here, present.
is, David Amanor. Amy Gibson Grote is excused this evening. Vice Chair Barron, we have not heard from, and your ex officio this evening is Counselor Michelle McCall Wallace. Thank you.
all right. Thank you for being here this evening, Councilor McCall. Appreciate your time, as always. Any public comment, Lori, this evening? No.
Nothing received.
Okay, there's no one present. At least unless they're hiding behind the bookshelf games. So we'll go ahead and assume there's no public comment tonight. We'll look at last month's meeting minutes. This will be the June meeting minutes. In July, we had a work session with city council that we'll dive into. That'll be the main topic of interest of this evening. So in June, going back a couple months, we discussed a few different topics. We had Lawrence Rivera, a guest speaker on our agenda. He ended up not being able to make it, but we discussed some future agenda items that we can loop in with Lawrence. He is has an interest in helping us with a business association for the Glencoe corridor, as well as potential development of the old gas station property across from King Torta that is part of that Glencoe opportunity area. So we're gonna look at getting him back on our agenda later this year. We also had a discussion on the North Plains budget that was approved, and its impact on economic development. So some of the details are in some of those meeting minutes. And then we revisited EDC meeting protocol, which we postponed for a future meeting. I don't know, does Bill plan on attending meetings going forward or not all meetings?
Yes, he's in Chicago this week. He and Rowan are attending the Brownfields conference. They need to attend it
Gotcha.
as part of the grant
Oh, great. Okay,
money, so, yeah.
excellent. Glad they're there.
Mhm.
So maybe next month or the meeting after, we'll revisit the meeting protocol. That's just an agenda. Any other questions or go backs on the June meeting minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Excellent, thank you. All right, all those in favor of approving June's meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
I,
Say nay. Okay, approval of June's meeting minutes. We got Lisa's just in time.
Yay.
I thought you were,
stalled,
yeah.
we stalled because you.
I know, everyone planned. Good stall, thanks.
all according to plan. All right, so really the main focus tonight will be recapping and discussing our work session with city council. We'll talk about city council's goals and the pillars and how the Economic Development Commission's goals align with that. Both from a priority standpoint and just some of our historical goals and our roadmap as a commission. We can kind of start just with a brief overview, I think, of what session. And if the group here had any follow-up items or questions that we wanted to discuss too, from that meeting. So I'll pull up full notes I've taken there. Anyone have any?
Do you want me to share?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, do you want me to share? Is that what you said? You enabled me to share?
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh.
okay. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it up quick enough.
Oh.
but That's okay. We'll use the agenda. As our talking points. So we discussed kind of our quarterly, or it really was a semi-annual update for city council, some of the items that the EDC had been working on and how that aligns with what the previous council as well as current council were working towards. I think there's probably some work for us to do with making sure we're aligned with the new pillars and goals for city council. But for the most part, I think we're focusing on a lot of the key areas. So making sure our priorities are aligned. Discuss this evening. Some of the things we talked about, the survey that we've been working on, we talked about getting out and working with some of the business owners as part of our phased approach for that survey. We also discussed how we can help like lessen the burden on new businesses who are trying to establish themselves in North Plains, whether it's a zoning restriction or requirement that might be plaguing their business, or different ways we can help. So we talked about like signage and some of the codes around that topic. And then we, as I mentioned, reviewed, Councilor McCall Wallace went through the city council goals and how we might be able to align those with our goals, as I mentioned. Were there any other topics the group had that we want to revisit here as we get underway?
So, what is like a quick question,
Yeah.
the like city council mission purpose and the goals are given. I look at the date and it is May 2025. So I wanted to find out can we have a copy of the previous one, then we can juxtapose this against it to see well the changes. Have there been any changes to the mission and goals?
Oh, of the 24 or the previous council's goals?
Previous-
Sure, yep,
I see it did change.
Yep.
On its
I can let you know that the vision and mission did not change, only the pillars and foundational pillars and the new sort of budget goals, which really are more goals all the way around.
I see, so if it's, we can have a copy of that, it will
Yes,
solve
it's
this
on
also in our discussions and, yeah.
Okay, that's a good point, thank you, Dave.
My question maybe related was goals, like how will we know? How will the city council assess that we have become strong, supported and have a sustainable economy? And I heard you just say that's in the budget goals. or-
So these goals were set around the time of the budget, like we didn't start in January or February, we hope to next time. So, they were really focused on, that's the focus in creating the budget, but as you can see, that flows into all the work that anyone does. So then I think it's going to be, and my hope, now this is just mine personally, because we have not set this into play, would be that the city staff and the various boards and commissions are collecting their work and their data just like you sent us, or you typically presented, so that we can look and say, these are the things that we're doing that meet these goals. So we are working towards this direction with that. Now, they're also not goals where we're like, some of them, becoming a safe, resilient, sustainable community is not something that's going to be, oh, done, it's more like, are we doing work to maintain that and to do that or to grow that? And so, my hope is that we'll be looking at that and tracking that between both city staff work and all of the boards and commissions, which then the council has the package to say, this is working, this is an area we need to adjust or add more in or not down the road.
First, just to make sure I'm understanding, using your example of I guess safe doesn't actually show up in the pillars.
No, it's in the other one.
It's in the mission
It's in the goals.
goals. Okay, I just scrolled up. Like, is there like, we know our police, we know how many incidents we have that would be considered medium and above crime. We know that we could, augment 24-hour. So we have a goal to reduce that or maintain that.
Yeah, so we do have those statistics that come in from staff, on a regular basis. And all of your things like the quarterly reports and the work that you're collecting. So the surveys that you're collecting is going to provide information to create action. And then we can look at that action and say, did that action improve the situation? And so I think that's the ongoing goal as opposed to, more specific, I will say goals such as, we want to have X number of these things happen. Those will be sort of minor, I'll call them supplemental goals that will happen along the way, where we can target specific things. And keep in mind that this is new for this council as a group. And I think that it wasn't necessarily tracked in the same way. I think the city manager tracked those before, the previous city manager. And so it's a matter of sort of getting all of that into place in this new environment.
So is there, from your perspective, is there I guess a better way for us to communicate if we are doing a work session? I think our next one isn't until middle of next year.
Yeah,
Is there a better way, or do you think the quarterly reports will be something that'll be beneficial to just communicate, because we want to make sure we're aligned and we aren't working on something and then 6 months later we find we're off track?
I think the quarterly reports to us became 3 times a year based on the calendar, with one of them being the group work session. The idea being that you only meet once a month. It's a lot to say every 3 months, then you should be giving a report out in the
Yeah.
council. So giving all of the boards and commission a little more time. But that's a way that is that sort of check-in. But keep in mind, we receive a monthly report through staff that, you know, for example, Bill Tenney is telling us what's going on in the commission as well. So we have that kind of report, and then we have the quarterly report, and then we'll have the annual report, which is more about you sort of taking the goal of the whole picture. Where are we? And now we know it's off this year because the goal is to start in January, February, these pillars, and then roll out the meetings. So it starts to form that basically next year in 2026, based on that calendar that was sent out.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's still useful to have that update,
Yeah,
you know, and that update is different than a staff update. That was clear when you guys did your report.
Mayor, would you expect that we'd spend some time thinking about,
Yeah.
if you look at the three goals, the one that smacks me is intentional, thoughtful growth to sustain a balanced community. Well, what does that mean? Expand economic opportunity through strategic investments to help, you know, like,
Yeah.
that one. We should be laddering up to that goal, right?
yeah, I think we can. Really assess like which of the goals and the pillars like really apply to this group. That's probably the main focus. It's pretty like smack dab economic opportunity.
Viable downtown, we have a downtown. or-
Yeah, so trying to make sure. Either what we're working on now aligns to these, or we need to. Kind of redirect or pivot to make sure that what we're working on. Actually takes these into account and is. That way we can, in my head, where I'm going with this is, I think in our. You know, 3 time a year update type report, we can. Speak directly to these goals and then the items we're working on, instead of, it kind of helps gives us shape or form. To how we are gonna structure what we're working on, instead of. Kind of just throwing it all
Well,
out.
and that will help council understand, you know, whether they need to shift their goals. You know,
Yeah.
like if we're hearing different things, or, you know, how that's working, and how they do align. I think one of the things I brought up was also that each of the boards and commissions also have plans that are in place that they're working with, you know, at whatever level. So it's sort of, you know, recognizing that we're working towards those plans too, even though it might not have been a direct council action this year, it is something that is in place, some of them for 20 years out. So, you know, we want to make sure that we are looking at that. And I think for economic development, I brought up the downtown plan applies to that. Right, so. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
I think it'll be definitely helpful, and we can maybe look at our roadmap again. We haven't looked at that in a few months. That was put together. Really at the. I think pretty much when the EDC was coming together, and then in a more iterative process, we've been updating our roadmap. And I think the most recent, we had a focus on downtown Glencoe Opportunity Area. It was somewhat of our subcommittee structure was our roadmap.
Do you want to review that at the September
I
meeting?
think
or-
so.
Okay,
That'd be great.
I think, yeah, I mean, this meeting, I'd love to, we don't have to. Necessarily like do the work right now, just align on maybe in September what we can do, what in terms of looking at the roadmap. Looking at our ongoing projects and how they align to the goals and pillars.
And I understand something like this where we need to, the downtown improvement recommendations, a pretty long document. Something like, maybe we could assign out topics to certain committee members.
Yeah.
To kind of bring in the highlights or things that we can take action on. Just to save us some time and to make it work.
But I don't want everyone to feel stressed, like this is all supposed to be accomplished by your next report, okay, so.
We're pretty motivated.
I know that's
Sounds like
that's
idea.
really great. I just don't want you to feel like council is putting all this pressure on. It's
Yeah.
really to create a structure and form of getting the information between between the groups and keeping council informed. And so that we really know what's happening. Sometimes we're not aware of all the great things that are in motion, and it's a way to really highlight those. And not just for us, but for the entire city to know.
The other item I had, was the research we did on the URA usage
Yeah.
from comparable cities in the state. So gathering that as well, I know that was a request to share some of that information, so I think. I'm trying to recall, I haven't looked into the research we did on that, but I remember maybe me and you, Lisa, doing.
Yeah,
some of
Declan,
that.
did you, I know I did an educator one.
Mhm.
And did you pick a city that you had brought into highlight?
I can't remember if it was Tillamook.
Yeah, so I wonder, could we just see if you still have some details on it or?
Yeah, I can take the action on that one to look at,
Okay.
because I'm sure we shared it with the group or on our OneDrive or, something like that.
Okay. All right, great. Eric's got that one. I'll look as always for the stuff that I did and see if I've got any materials.
Okay.
You know, me and my paid up ChatGPT is happy to help, like. do a
Things
more
are
breakdown.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, things have changed since I did this. Actually, that would be great if you bring that in.
I will take that
Okay.
if you would like.
Okay, that's a good one.
Or AI correspondent.
Little market research.
Go back, go to the,
Mhm.
like, who goes to council and share. So the goals, I wanted to find out the UGB recommendations, do they, when they fed into these goals or.
The actual recommendation,
Correct.
council has not, council, so the UGB recommendation that came higher in 2024. That all went into the relook committee and everything, right, for a change. That has not come from planning as a recommendation to council yet.
Oh, I see.
That I believe is what planning is. So that's not something that we would make any kind of decision or direction or look at until we would receive that from them. We did have joint meetings with the relook committee and the planning committee. Two of those, well, one with the relook and then one with the planning. Relook planning and council, and then relook, or then council and planning to follow up with some questions that didn't get answered in the first one. So we did have those, so we could hear the presentation from the relook committee. I think you were there
Yeah.
at that one. And so at this point, that the next steps are really to sort of say, well, what did the relook committee say? What's the direction? What's the recommendation? And that has not come before council at this point.
Or that meeting was in February.
The relook, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a while. It was, February, March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite some time.
I did watch the planning commission where they discussed this, and I think it was not as clear
Great word.
with direct actions as you would hope if they had really absorbed what the relook committee did. And then the other thing I personally observed, and I know you were in those meetings with me, is a repainting of what actually happened. And so I have suggested that the city council and the planning commission actually either view the tape or get an accountant of what was actually said at the end, because I feel like it's being recast by incorrectly.
Lori, do you know, is it on their agenda for this upcoming meeting? I just,
There,
yeah, you don't have, if you don't know, no problem.
no, there is, I can't remember exactly what it's titled, but there is something regarding, reviewing the relook. And that's only because I haven't received everything since Rowan's in
Oh,
Chicago.
got it.
I'm starting to panic because I have to put it out tomorrow.
Okay.
So she should be sending it to me. Hopefully by midday tomorrow.
It's
All right.
only, it's only 8:30 PM in Chicago.
Yeah,
That's the time.
So I believe it's in process. I guess that's how I would better describe it. Yeah. Is in process. It's not, it takes a while. And
It's now
I
in
think you're well
the hands
aware.
of planning commission.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Mhm.
That's my understanding.
Has the council had, the kind of the standard cadence of work sessions with the planning commission? I know they were next after us.
Parks was next.
Parks.
However, we did one with the planning commission, in terms of that follow-up with the relook.
Okay,
And so that was sort of within that timeline.
okay,
So they do not have one on this calendar. The libraries are next one.
Okay.
With parks, and then we'll be doing the library.
okay.
And then to, look at, any kind of changes, want to make sure
Okay,
that structure.
I mean, that's obviously a big, yeah, needle mover in terms of how we can help with the long-term strategy of economic development, so.
And Mr. Chairman, don't we have is there no, like a free street for the planning,
Recommendation?
yeah, to.
It doesn't sound like it.
And there's not one out yet that I know of.
So they don't have any, expected.
When they plan on presenting a recommendation, I don't believe so. I mean, we can maybe follow up with the planning commission then and see if there's any update, or even this group can help assist with any of the, because we had
Oh, yeah, the three of you were. on
three, three members on the reload committee, so.
The other thing in talking to Rowan is that the city's moving forward with concept planning in parallel to a
Yes.
recommendation, and I haven't thought about it till like you're talking. Is there any role for EDC to support? So
I would think so.
we're hearing, hey, can you help advocate for zoning? What would be the role of an EDC in a concept planning phase? I've not been involved from an EDPC perspective in any previous concept planning, but that would be maybe a question for Rowan.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, and there's some misinformation out there about the concept planning process. It's not based on the 855 acres. That's what it says in the paperwork, only because the grant was filled out 2.5 years ago based on that. But it's not based, I mean, that's not what the concept plan is based on. It can be based on whatever acreage they want. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So Rowan is working to get get as much correct information out as she can. Obviously, we don't want to lose the grant, and there are time frames that we need to meet.
Yeah.
So she is definitely the one, if you have any questions, to contact.
Yeah, we should see something from now from planning commission. And
Yes,
certainly, or from the city manager who could answer all these questions better.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I understand how, of course, that all ties to economic development. And so does safety, and so does, housing and all the other stuff. It all ties together, for all of us. But certainly that makes a difference in sort of decisions and ideas. But there is a piece of concept planning that will be happening as well, my understanding. What council was told.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think that in terms of concept planning, I would think where this group can help probably the most in terms of what feedback we've received of bringing in new businesses, what they would like to see from a planning perspective. It could even be like geolocationally, or what they want to see. We've heard new businesses want more amenities in town so that their employees can go to lunch and things like that.
Or land to expand.
Yeah, so.
Can I ask a question? And I'm actually looking to make sure that this is an appropriate ask and that you understand the perspective by which I'm asking. That I have a stake in the Lind Reservoir area. And after talking with Councilor Dumbrau, and doing some thinking, we are working on a proposal of an agri-hood, which could be a lot of different things, but given his prompting, we're working on how to support small businesses. And instead of having it be like every house has a garden box, how could you actually create revenue and some support local small businesses and small farmers through that. And we have a work session with the city council to talk about it, but would it be appropriate to play with that idea, get the input of the Economic Development Council? Do you really think that that would support small businesses and have the opportunity to support economic development as a viable idea? Like, what's the opinion of the EDC? So would that be an appropriate ask
Do you
of
mind
this?
elaborating on what an agri-hood is? I'm not familiar with, like, the concept of that.
An agri-hood, and I'm gonna tell you, I learned about this in the last 6 months because my niece went to a Farm Bureau meeting. Because they're a farming family and they toured one. So, and she was telling me about it for a number of reasons. We've started to look into it. And essentially, it is building a community around a theme of agriculture instead of, say, a golf course or a tennis court. And there is as many ways to do it as you want. But you are trying to bring that theme in. And given that there used to be Lakeview Farms there, that was a business that ran agritainment. The idea is, what would it be like to develop that asset, not just as a park, but maybe, that would run a monthly farm-based event. It's, peach cobbler month, and you're gonna try to draw 1,000 people. It's like the garlic festival in little bits.
Yeah.
But you are potentially working with small farmers, you are potentially have a restaurant that's farm to table there, you are potentially, supporting small farms in selling their stuff. So if you remember at the RAC, we had someone say, I have a farm 10 miles up and I don't have a place to sell my product, was actually what somebody said. I'm excited about that we could maybe grow. And so I was surprised by that audience participation. So we used to have a farmer's market, it's gone away. This could be your farmer's market, like, revived, and you have to live within 10 miles of the city to participate. So those are the kind of things you could do, and would the Economic Development Committee want to think about, is this an interesting growth strategy from your perspective?
I think so. I mean, my gut reaction is like, yes, because it obviously involves the local economy and being able to, you talked about farmers market and centering the community around, a farm instead of a golf course or tennis court or something like
It
that.
brings people to town.
We would probably just have to consider, like, are we then shifting any type of growth and investment from, like, the downtown corridor? for
Those are the
example?
things you have to think about.
Yeah.
Right. And things like that, which, again, like this group, I think can help or should be involved in those discussions.
Can I add that, what you brought up was all of the sort of business aspects of that. So, a farm store that sells soaps and craft products or a farmer's market kind of store, or, a place to do cooperative farming, all of those kinds of things that you brought up. Now, the agri-hood is the idea that, as opposed to call it neighborhood, the neighborhood focus is that. But I think one of the questions I'm hearing is, is that a good fit? All of those kinds of businesses for North Plains, regardless of whether they are downtown, off of North Street, out by the Reservoir, like, regardless of where they are, what does that look like in terms of what this community has asked for and what this community is looking for? Because the reality is, it could also be all downtown, right? But, if it doesn't necessarily function the same way, and since that isn't a decided situation, I mean, I think it's looking at the opportunity for the kinds of businesses here. Just a thought, throwing it out there.
Yeah,
And to add to that, from your discussion so far, do you have like some kind of proposal, concerning the concept,
I've certainly done some research, and I'll also be transparent that my family doesn't want to run any of those businesses, so we would be looking. To partner and to make it happen. We don't think that you can turn over land and say, city, make a bunch of businesses. We don't think you can, the way we've studied, you can't have an HOA neighborhood and it needs, if it ends up being there, and I think you're, that point of, does it detract from downtown? We purposely don't wanna have two downtown, so how do you make this? You know, should it even be there? So I have a proposal, but it is a concept that then would need partnerships and development agreements. It is not my family saying, we want to start a restaurant business and here's our proposal.
Yeah.
This is a multi-generational proposal. This will take 20 years to develop. And so we're interested in bringing the idea forward, and I'm hearing maybe you'd be, if I could bring the idea forward, could you poke at it and like wrestle with it from our hat?
The EBC ones.
Yeah, so it's what I'm trying to remind, that if it can be flesh out a little bit, and then since you are the visionary, you have like a proposal, it will be easier to like just a summary on one sheet, go look at it and then be able to review and
They
give
belong to
you,
one page.
yeah.
If it's all about the bottom line up front, what's gonna cost me?
I can let you know also that the council has requested a presentation on agri-hoods. And I invite all of you to come to that meeting when it ends up on the agenda. Because we'll be having a work session or presentation on that at some point.
And Rowan is putting it, like, Rowan's doing a lot of kind of independent research as well. I'm supporting her and
There's
volunteer.
one not too far from here, correct?
I don't have a new date, so it was.
No, I mean, there's an agri-hood,
There's one
in
in
the-
Donald and one in Salem,
yeah, so
which I
that,
visited. I could tell you about them.
There's several you can see online and things.
Yeah.
The information is out there, we just didn't have it presented to the council as a whole or to the public. And so it's an opportunity to do that, to raise the discussion as well. So I do invite you to come to that meeting when it happens.
And if we I think there are questions that me recusing myself from, like, what would be the economic development's position on this?
Right.
Here are the pros or the cons or what we'd like to see from our lens, which is gonna be way different than Park and Rec or,
Yeah,
some other perspective. So that if we were to participate, if anyone participated in the working session, it wouldn't be, what is this? But here is our position or things that we have thought about.
and that's how we've operated too, like with the UGB expansion and whatnot too, it's. Here's our position, here's what we've thought about from an economic lens. So I think we could definitely do that and. Probably do some research, attend the presentation with the council as well as probably do some. I'll probably go look up some examples.
Maybe, Lori, we could just circulate what already went to city council as like the best practice. That was a nice little, it is not a one pager, David, but it was.
no, it's not, but it was,
It is.
it was a nice,
Maybe doesn't read past the first page.
It's a nice publication.
it is a nice,
Within the
yeah,
council
it's like 6 pages or something.
It's easy, lots of pictures.
Yeah,
And this whole
I think
pilot.
I've just what Councilor Michelle gave me. Said there is a presentation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we received that packet or that information, that publication, which then we asked for more information. Obviously, a little more detail. In terms of how to approach it from the city council perspective, it's a little different than publication.
yeah, I will get that to you guys by the end of the week.
no rush.
Kind of focused on that planning session thing. But yeah, I will.
I'm sorry to set up a site visit in Arizona and waiting till it's not so hot, because I think they're. From reading and talking, the setup they have, which is much bigger than we'd be able to do, is very business and community focused. in a way that they're integrating schools and stuff like that, that I think is interesting, which is not Salem or Donald.
Oh,
Um,
What are they growing in
if
Arizona?
anyone wants to go to Arizona,
lettuce.
Cacti?
Cactus, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, Yuma is the lettuce
I'll
capital
be-
of the United States.
Oh, yeah. I'll be
Gilbert?
there in October.
For work.
For research?
for,
Go
uh,
for vac-
you wanna go to Gilbert, Arizona with me in October?
Sure.
Is
Be there for a week.
this a sponsored trip?
Yeah, the EDC budget.
It's training, right? There's just funds for training and
That's true.
you remember you talked about that.
Get reimbursed for my companion fare.
Yeah, what, yeah, since you mentioned it, when are we going to revisit that issue,
The
like a
budget.
list of, yeah,
Um,
list of, training programs or.
Yeah.
One or two things with it.
I think maybe that's a good discussion with, like, looking at the council goals and our commission's goals and identifying some of those training programs that we've talked about and how those might align with the new goals.
And didn't we mention looking into, are there any grants we could have on top of the budget?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I'll
Can
list
David
here.
take that one?
Yeah. Do you wanna look into different training options and potential grants and things like that, or do you wanna hold off until? We can-
Our discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can start looking at it and maybe submit a report of feedback after. Leadership discussions.
yeah. Oh. Okay, so. David will focus on that, look into that, I'll follow back up on the research we did on the URA of comparable cities. Jack mentioned Agri-Hood and some of the research we can do there. Signage follow-up was one thing we were gonna look at with Dave Vandehe. Seeing if he had like concrete suggestions.
Council did just do a text amendment for the sign code.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's been a little bit of update on that.
Okay.
Not anything major, but, slowly, because we didn't get the grant for the whole code update. They're,
Having to pick and choose what.
yes,
Sort of manifest sign. And, there was an error that had left in the previous code with new code that had been passed.
yeah,
And so it was, it didn't make sense if you read it, because you were like, you're saying this in one place, and you're saying this in another. And so it cleaned all of that up, was really what that code piece was, but very relevant for monument signs and pole signs.
yeah.
Okay.
So now we can actually put the sign up for the new Public Works building. The
Oh, okay.
the Kendall Public Services Building.
And there's been talk of other monument signs.
Yeah, a few others in town too, so,
Gotcha.
so that'll be good.
Excellent, okay. Lisa, were you trying to say something?
Well, I was gonna say, we mentioned the downtown improvement plan. Do you want me to take that one to bring in some summaries and points that may align with the council pillars?
Yes, that
Things we can take action on.
yeah. Here, so I don't forget, it's how convenient that, our vice chairman Barron is not at the meeting where we're dishing out action items.
But Michael's online.
Michael is online, hello.
You have to be present to win?
Were there other items? So, again, URA. Signage, downtown improvement, training programs and the budget essentially. UGB slash. Agri-Hood, we're kind of just combining those together. Any other,
So a few other things I remember, and this is maybe too much for us to tackle in one session in September. So there was mention of the city inventory that we started.
yeah,
And I mean, it's in an Excel spreadsheet, and I still haven't quite come to, all right, how can we make that valuable? How can we
Right.
make it usable? But that, they mentioned that, and they obviously mentioned the survey. So, and we know that's something we need to revisit sometime soon.
Your inventory is downtown.
That's all we did, you know, that walk we
Yeah,
did,
just the
Bill,
downtown.
it's actually just commercial. Yeah, just commercial, coffee roasters essentially.
And it was essentially existing structures, right? Or land,
And empty land,
yeah,
yeah.
available downtown for
Yeah.
business development.
So it's out there, it's in an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
What? What do we, what value? Oh, and actually, here's a follow-on question I have. Do we have a shared, I know we started our own Google Drive, but is there actually an official place that we can share something like
City sanctioned,
Excel spreadsheet with a city inventory in it?
Um. You're asking the most untechnologically, I am so technologically challenged, but yes, I believe so.
Okay, then
I-
there might be a.
Yes,
And rather than one of us just, I think it was just Eric's Google Drive that he was sharing. with-
yes, and honestly, the person that talked about that is probably Rowan, they are a whiz at
Okay,
that stuff, but yes, I am fairly confident.
To be able to share through that Microsoft Office.
Because, Therese shares stuff
Okay.
and Corinne shared stuff, so yes,
okay,
that's why I'm fairly confident about that.
and that would be the easiest place for me to save something like that, that everyone has access to, and then we need to think about, okay, so how do we use it? What do we
yeah,
use?
or if it's, something we bring to council and see what their input would be, like how we could use it.
Or I can ask Rowan about where we can share documents.
Okay.
Stay with chair like my sister, in, actually for eight books or ideas. I remember on a couple of occasions, not sure whether it's EDC directly, but we discuss, issues related to having like a supermarket or grocery, in town. Similar to like Walmart or, not as big as Walmart, like, is that interesting then? Is, can we have, I would like to find out if maybe, who someone can let us know whether that interest is still there. Or if GDC council take it upon this. If I remember sometime I spoke with, I think I forgot the name, but I spoke with, one of the supermarkets and they
Grocery
engaged
outlet.
me, yeah, grocery outlet, yeah. Is the interest still there or it has subsided?
I'm trying to remember the last update we got from Bill a couple of months ago. Whether the interest was still there from the grocer or not. It was all kind of depending on us getting the grant for cleaning up the Glencoe Opportunity area, whatnot.
Good. Good.
Not much.
That would take a while.
That's the remote position.
in general.
Yeah.
It's not public, but
We'll follow
It
up.
should be.
Make sure it's.
Yeah.
not
I
a
knew at the time I spoke to him, the economics were going very well, but after a while, I noticed some of those
Right, right.
I'm not really sure.
But if there's, I don't know what issue.
Yeah, especially, I mean, a lot has changed, yeah, business environment wise over the last few months, so.
So you were asking, can we have an update on the Rumboldt position?
Yeah, update on the, yeah, I know there were some meetings took place, I think they engaged Bill to have some discussions, but I don't know whether, I don't want to put myself at the center, I see if I have some personal interest. So I just introduced them to Bill
Ah.
to engage. So, yeah. Just wanted to know the interest is still there.
Right.
The back off.
Okay.
Bill did say, I think at the council meeting that we got the grant for the brownfields environmental and, it will take until next spring for that to even start to happen, for them to start cleaning up that. So, I mean, we're almost a year out for the
This
property
part.
to be even cleared,
Okay,
unfortunately.
okay.
Federal monies
Yeah.
slow everything
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, and it's I mean, there's only we live in a very wet climate where you can only do some of that work.
That's
for a
true
short
too,
time.
yes.
And, you know, depending on the work, it costs a lot more to haul away heavy rain.
Heavy
dirt
rain,
than it
yes.
does to haul away, dirt that's not.
Yeah.
Also, you know, getting it at the right time, to get it out of the ground. I mean, there's a lot of factors to that, but.
Yeah.
Which puts it into that cycle. Oh,
Yeah,
but they're learning all about it right now, so.
they are.
we're gonna do more expensive.
All right, last time or another item, we mentioned the business survey. We pretty much have it. It's just like sitting dormant until we kind of decide on direction. Counselor McCall Wallace did mention the Strong Towns North Plains, kind of a third party group, is interested in doing some of the like similar survey work or participating in some of that. And so we had some discussions on trying to make sure between us, the chamber and Strong Towns, there wasn't any type of duplicative efforts going on with surveys or anything like that. So that one will likely need to partner with Strong Towns to get some clarity on how they would like to participate or just, I guess, get some clarity on our path forward with the survey.
Have you started to make that connection, or what's our next step?
Likely for myself or us to connect with them, and I've had some communication with Emily Waldron, who's involved with she was on the relook committee and involved with Strong Towns. At the time, it was just a kind of general outreach, seeing if we were looking to partner on anything. And at the time, we were just kind of plugging away on our own stuff, so we can revisit that partnership.
And they did, let me know that was something that they were working on. They announced that in their public meeting as well. And I also said, well, we have economic development working on this as well. Might there be an opportunity to support one another? And so it was Linda Gallis Martin sent me that information, and I sent that to you and Chris so that outreach could happen.
Yeah.
To find out what's in play.
Right. I mean, personally, I'm naive to this, but I'm somewhat unfamiliar with as a non-city sanctioned organization, how are we supposed to navigate working with organizations that aren't affiliated, but doing very similar work, in some cases like directly parallel to what we're working on, and how we navigate that? Are we supposed to partner with every group that wants to do something with us if it aligns similar to something we're already working on? It's kind of a gray area for me, so
They want to add 3 questions to the survey. Is that yes, we're supposed to be collaborative? Do we take a vote? What does that look like?
yeah. I'm not sure.
And that entity, the beneficiary.
Yeah,
Strong Towns is like a 503C.
yeah.
The
It's not-
Strong Towns, the nonprofit organization is,
It's an advocacy organization.
but they are
They are not umbrella. Or They are not a 501(c)(3), and they are not umbrellaed under that organization. That organization is an advocacy organization, so they provide support and resources for strong towns. And this group is working towards that, forming that group, well, forming the group is happy, but working towards getting that 501(c)(3). But at this point, they are not an official organization in that way.
Okay.
Well, my 2 cents is, I think that if we could have an official email somehow from city EDC, I don't know, I know we don't have one today. That would be my preference for where the survey comes from. Is that where the Economic Development Committee, we're just a city organization, a formal organization. And all we care about is the best interest of North Plains and economic development here. I think that would be, as a business owner, I think I would be the most likely to respond to a survey from the EDC. So that's my 2 cents.
Is that on the table to create a,
Oh, I'm.
and I don't know if it
certainly-
even has to be someone's name, it could be a,
No, it could be,
Economic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
exactly,
Something like that.
yeah, I'll talk to Bill about it. Cause I don't think we have a limit to how many we can have. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thing we were struggling with is, it seemed like the survey from the chamber went unnoticed amongst all the other email. And obviously, coming from one of us personally is a little,
Yeah,
that's not what we want either.
yeah, it will have more oomph behind it if it has an actual .gov, northplains.gov email address.
So even if we collaborate with other groups and take, like you said, take some questions or add some things to the survey, I think if it coming from the EDC, to me, I think would have the most value add and highest chance for a response.
So one of the things that they mentioned was, going and talking to businesses. And it's something that I've heard the Economic Development Commission mention.
Yes.
So, when that opportunity is there and volunteers need to go out, to take a volunteer with you. So there's 2 of you going, so to speak, and, kind of doing, just helping with the legwork.
Yeah,
And then there's an opportunity for volunteers who are interested in the economic development growth of our community to get involved in some way that they may not want to be on the commission, nor have the time to be, but they would have time to do a small project
Right,
and give up their time for a while to go door to door with you.
right.
So that was sort of my thinking, is how do we encourage the community to engage with us?
and to give you some backstory, the chamber, ever since we started this committee, has been talking about doing those in-person visits. And it just has never happened. So we're actually the ones who said, we'll go with you, chamber, and visit. And it's still has never really got traction to this day. So maybe, we need to be the ones to just.
Oh, so maybe,
initiate.
maybe there's a way that it's all floating out there and
Yeah,
somehow it has to get together to happen.
yep,
But I think that's where the positive side of the interest is, if there are community members who are interested, what can they do? And I know that, the survey has, some specific parameters already within it in terms of the aggregate and trying to get that. But, this is not a one-shot thing, it's an ongoing process.
Right.
So,
yep,
if someone's coming along saying they want to volunteer, then there's a way to
Absolutely.
do that.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to volunteer, that's a different,
Yeah.
situation.
Definitely.
That way they can provide good support, the official communications must come from the EDC.
Right, right. I think that's the goal, at least, like trying to align, like communication wise, single source.
Well, hopefully, I think, we will have this to get like the city councils, seal that, with the EDC, right?
Yeah,
The letterhead for the communication, the chairman can sign it.
yeah, we'll make sure, especially if we have like an email address, for example, we'll make sure the survey itself is presented in a way that's consistent with any type of city. Yeah. Okay, I think good discussion around like what we're gonna focus on, especially next month. Any additional items that we wanna look at either next month or this evening? I think we have some actions here. I don't necessarily wanna add any more per se. I think we have our plates full for this next month. Any other items we wanna discuss?
Anything we want to assign to Chris and Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, got anything?
I do have that for the September
Okay,
meeting,
okay.
yeah.
Only other item I can think of is if, like, Mike and Chris want to. Revisit our subcommittee work and either. Kind of like put a cap on it, or just give like a current status on. Cause Mike, you and Chris were on separate subcommittees, correct?
Yeah,
Maybe just like updating on where those are at, cause we kind of brought those to a certain point, and then obviously now we're focusing on our alignment with city council goals, so maybe we like I said, kind of put a bow on those and give a final update, or at least figure out how those subcommittees align with some of the city council goals and pillars. Sort of thing.
yeah, I can work with Chris and see where he's at with his and match that with ours.
That'd be great.
Not for, I think next month, but where did we leave off with the website update from a business friendly? Like, what happened to that work stream? We were waiting for what's her name?
Therese.
To, oh, okay, so let's.
Let's put it on the
pin
agenda.
Pin that for a future topic.
Okay.
Yeah, there are things happening on the website. Rowan is updating a ton of stuff on the planning side and the URA, the UGB,
Isn't there links out to the chamber list on the city website? I can't remember if it's there or not.
I don't remember,
But
but
there's,
anyway,
There was like 100 businesses, so.
yeah, things are getting updated, not by choice, but
um,
there are things behind the scenes that are working, and we are like,
Maybe the question for city management is, at what time might we want to refresh the website? Or I'm a new business and I, wanna explore North Plains. So we kind of had that as an action item. We went a little more brochurish, but I think we had the idea that could we have a toolkit or something on the website? And when, instead of making an action item, just when is the city ready for that? And could we get direction
yeah.
about that for our roadmap?
We'll just have like city website update and like toolkit development for prospective businesses. And how that will help inform our roadmap timing for all.
And I think I'd be happy to volunteer to go look at 10 cities' websites to see what they do, but not until, I don't wanna do it if 6 months, so. Yeah. Happy to invest when the time comes.
Very strategic.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other items on that? I want to make sure. We covered everything that we want to cover, especially going into next month.
Can I ask, have you guys gone through each section on the website?
Like filter through each one, or
Yeah, for the business area.
I personally haven't.
Cause there's kind of a robust area of like different things for the businesses, so I think that's, would be,
I have, but it has
It
been,
has been a while. I remember
has
you
been
had
a
done
while.
that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious, so, in terms of what's there based on our size and our staffing and capabilities, so, because it seems to be one of the more robust areas on the website.
Okay, that's because we
That's good to hear.
previously improved it.
There you go.
Uh,
Catherine McCall Wallace, any words of wisdom for us this evening?
No, I always wonder if I talk too much at these meetings.
No, it's great
Um,
input.
I'm not sure what the ex officio, and I know I'm not voting, but you know, hopefully you want to hear some of those other things that are going on. The one thing I can share, we talked to, you know, basically everything you talked about were things that we have been talking about at council, we're working on and towards, and we'll be getting more information, for example, about the URA, about the agri-hoods, about the TGM grant, and about the relook, and all of that as it's moving forward with council. The one thing I think that is important to note is that we have applications for mayor closing on the 14th. So that's next week.
Oh, that's like next Wednesday,
Thursday, yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday at noon.
I hope all of you have your application.
Thursday at noon, and I do hope we do good applications. And so, and just to let you know, it's not the mayor, if you go into the charter and you can read the role, you know, it's a decision-making body of 7. It's not a mayor-run city, it's a council, it's a city manager, form. And so, you know, for decisions, we make them as a body of the council. And in addition, you know, the mayor does have some additional regional meetings and some things like that that go on and obligations. But overall, it's what you're seeing in the council meetings. And you are a bit of a face of the city. And I'm sure that there's others, we have mayors, with past mayors that live in town. We have ones that live out of town and I know are accessible, that could share information. And you know, even the past one here that would share information about what the role is and what they've done. So I do encourage people to apply. And yes, get your application in by Wednesday. That way you won't be late for the noon Thursday deadline.
Yeah, and a quick question in relation to that, is there going to be a by-election? I
No,
know that there was.
no, the way, yes, the council members and the mayor are elected. When someone opens up a vacancy, then it becomes an appointment for the remainder of their term. And so there's a process, and I went through that process in December as a council member, where I turned in the application similar to what is being asked for here. And then came to the council and they asked a few questions, interview questions, and then from that, the council makes nominations, and from that, they vote by majority to select. And so that's the process of how that will go. And I think there'll be more coming out about the process itself for the community, but it is not another election. But we are not, I think the difference is, if you were a mayor-run city, that would probably kick into another election, but because we are a city manager, and I like to call us the 7-headed monster of city council, that we make decisions together and move forward together. And so,
Just the quarterback of the team. Hey, point guard. I like it.
Yeah.
And so the appointment will be made by a majority decision of the council.
that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah. The
And the
attorney,
smoke goes up.
attorney. Yeah, different colors. When a decision is made, and again, we have an attorney who's clarified all of those details for us. But it is also in a city code in the city charter. And that's my understanding in reading it. I believe it's a majority and not a quorum vote.
You would make a very fantastic leader.
Absolutely.
Everyone get their application.
Everyone get their application in.
She does have an experience. She was a mayor in California, so.
And I do actually have the experience of being, taking over a vacancy of a mayor.
Oh, really?
Because the mayor, who I was serving in city council with, died unexpectedly.
Oh, gosh.
Sadly, but so then, the appointment had to be made. So, was voted in on a majority.
There we go, feel settled to me.
So just so you know, it's like, it's not the first time I've been through this, and I know it feels big. But, you know, I think the really important thing is to remember that there's 7 of us, we're a team, and, You know, when there's 6 of us, we get the work done too. When there's 5 of us, we still get the work done.
Mhm.
And that's our job, and we do that together. And so, I think that's important to remember, in terms of the city of North Plains.
Yeah.
And that we can still keep moving forward and that there is work to be done.
Bill and I are putting together a Mayor 101 page on the city website.
For the city, for the residents to understand.
Yes, to clarify that, there's some misunderstanding and again, misinformation. The mayor doesn't have any more power than the other 6 counselors. They are the face, obviously, of the council. They, if there's a ribbon cutting, it's normally the mayor that's out there. And they do attend county meetings and that kind of stuff. But when it comes to city votes, they all have the same even authority and even votes and all that stuff. And so, that's what I did today. We spent gathering information, League of Oregon Cities video and
And since they're also different out there, I mean, that is primarily the city manager form of government.
yeah,
Council manager form of government. But there are different ones out there and,
there
you know,
are,
you don't really know. It's not what gets talked about behind the scenes. So just getting, you know, having the public be informed, is a great way to do that.
yeah.
You know, but the job remains the same, whether you are a council member or a mayor or a commissioner, you're here to serve the city.
Thank you for
Yes,
that.
thank you.
And everyone come to the garlic fest this weekend.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's happening too.
Also something that doesn't happen if there aren't, without all the volunteers.
It's any volunteer plug for us.
Oh, you know, but I think we're okay.
Everyone respond to your text messages.
No, but
Let me check with my family. I was like, anyone drive a golf cart? Anyone? I did circulate.
Yeah, you up about that. Wait, a few last minute things that came up,
Yeah.
but scrambling for. But anyway, come enjoy.
Yes.
Everyone come enjoy this weekend.
come see my car. It's gonna be in the car show.
All right.
Did that?
I didn't, I put my car in the All Ford show 2 weeks ago, first time ever. I've owned my car since 2012. Never put it in a car show ever. I'm a late bloomer, and so Iggy talked me into it, cause he's a Mustang guy, and he's like, you have a Mustang, what are you doing not put, so I did. And, well, I got a second place, there was like 3 cars in my front. But
That's on post.
I have a plaque, and so, then I'm like,
To the next level, go.
right, exactly, I mean, it's already shined up, you know, so what the heck, so yeah, I've never come to the Garlic Festival other than, for lunch on Friday, usually staff
Oh,
comes
yeah.
down here and has lunch on Friday.
Okay.
I've never come on the weekends because
it's a zoo.
people,
Important.
you know,
President.
but yes, exactly, I spend enough time here. Yeah, well, and I don't mind the heat, but now, yeah, now I'll be here at 10:30 on Saturday, that's what time we
All right,
start putting the cards up.
come up to see the car house.
Yeah.
I'm recovering from being sick, but if you get stuck, I don't know that. I don't know what's going on in my house, but
Okay,
text me.
deal, in case someone doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Thanks for the rest of the committee for rolling. For family, Michelle just said that.
Yeah.
We all do it together.
Yes. All right, I think that covers it. Any last minute items here before we wrap up? I know we got a busy month next month. And be plugging away. All right,
All right, bye, Michael.
meeting adjourned.
Michael will be there
7:20
Saturday.
Yep, I'll see you in the tent.